Hi there and welcome to this Philosophy 100 asynchronous course. I'm going to be the instructor for this course. My name is Roger Foster. I am a professor at BMCC and I'm excited to be starting this semester with you and talking about some of the central themes in the history of philosophy. So in this introduction I'm going to be telling you about everything you need to know in terms of the assignments, how the course is structured, the content, what the expectations are, and everything else, so you'll be all set to start after getting through this introduction. So let's crack into the structure of the course. Alright, so the course is arranged according to these 6 modules on Brightspace. The modules must be completed according to the weekly deadlines provided. So as we'll talk about shortly, there are a number of weekly tasks that have to be completed, and they have to be completed during that week. So there are weekly tasks to complete, and weekly deadlines to complete those tasks. So the 6 modules are organized into 3 different categories. The first 2 we'll be talking about ethics, and then we'll be talking about political philosophy when we look at civil disobedience. And finally, we'll be looking at philosophy and mindfulness through the lens of 2 ancient philosophies, which are Stoicism and Buddhism, an Eastern philosophy. So this is how the course is going to be arranged. Each module runs approximately 2 weeks. So the 6 modules together will take us through the entirety of the course. So the course is organized into weekly segments, and as I said, each module takes about 2 weeks to complete. The work must be completed on a weekly basis, like I said. So to be active in this, to be successful in this class, you have to be active every single week. So the course, it starts in week 0. Week 0 is sort of the first preliminary week before we start the content, and there are a couple of specific things to complete in week 0. And so we go right through from week 0 into week 14, and week 14 is exam week. So that's the 15 weeks of the course. So as a class, everybody is expected to contribute to learning on a weekly basis. So let me explain what makes this an asynchronous course. It's asynchronous because you can view the lectures and do the weekly assignments at a time in the week that works for you. So you're not constrained to appear in class at a particular time. There aren't lectures on Zoom that we all attend together. Instead, I'm going to provide the lectures, I will provide the readings, and you can decide at a time that works for you when you will complete those things. But there are also weekly tasks that must be completed on a weekly basis. So it's very important to know that this is not a self-study course. In other words, it's not a course where you can study at your own pace and do the material at your own pace. It's a class where we work through the material together, and we look at the material and study the material together. So the weekly assignments are usually the markup assignments, where we sort of edit and comment on a text and mark up a text together, and the voice thread assignments as well, where you're required to upload a voice thread, and I'll talk about those shortly. And also the quiz is the other sort of weekly component. So these things represent the class learning. They represent what we would do if we were in a classroom having discussion, and it's important that we replicate and we have that element of class learning in an asynchronous class. So that's why it's important to do the activities and to do the assignments on a weekly basis, so that we can learn from each other. So asynchronous means you can complete the work on your own schedule, provided you make all the weekly deadlines. Okay, so in this course readings will be provided on Brightspace. And there's usually two readings a week. It's important to work through the readings first before starting the assignments, and indeed before watching the video lectures. The first thing to do is work through the readings. And just be aware it may take time before you're comfortable reading philosophical texts, and that's perfectly normal, and that's just something to expect. It takes a little while to get used to reading the text and how it works, and to be sort of a bit confused about what you're looking for. So don't be concerned if you're sort of having those feelings and sort of having those concerns. It's a normal sort of thing when you start to read things that you're not familiar with. So this course is a safe space for you to try out different ideas and different interpretations. Right? We're not looking for a single correct way to read the text, because there isn't one. What we're trying to do is deepen our understanding by working together to figure out possible meanings and to figure out possible ways of understanding what the text is saying to us. So it's a kind of collaborative work of trying to figure out how we can make the best sense of what it is that we're reading. And that's how we approach the readings, that's how we approach the sort of markup assignments and everything else. So it's a good idea to take notes, mark the reading as you're reading it. You can do that digitally, you can print it out and make sort of marks on it. The more you interact with the text, the more you will learn from it. So I'll provide all the text in PDF format, and you can access them as you wish, but I definitely encourage you to do your best to interact and work with the text, make notes, mark the text at the important points. The more you can do that, the more you will get out of the reading, and the more you'll sort of feel that you're getting mastery of the text, that you're starting to find your way around it. All right, so the evaluation and requirements this semester. These are the grades that I'll be giving you this semester. So there's 15% of the grade will be for the weekly markup assignments. 15% of the grade will be for the weekly quizzes. Another 15% for the voice thread. The final exam is also 15%. And there are 4 essays, which are 10% each, 40% in total. So those will sort of comprise, in the essays, you'll sort of set out what you've learned from the modules that we look at. The markup assignments, the quizzes, and the voice thread are the weekly sort of the weekly tasks that we do sort of together to make sense of the reading. And the final exam is at the end of the semester. It's not a kind of general knowledge test, it'll be more of a kind of reflective exercise at the end of the semester. Okay, so you'll find the course outline on the syllabus, as well as the evaluation and requirements. And the course outline tells you what we're reading this week. It tells you the dates, so you'll know that week 1 starts September the 2nd to September the 8th, according to the syllabus, and it tells you what we're reading that week, so what the readings are, and it also has the dates for the essays and the due dates and everything. So make sure if you have any questions about what we're reading, what the dates are, then check with the syllabus and the course outline. Okay, another important thing to have close by in the course is the course map. Like the syllabus, it's also posted on Brightspace, and the course map has the dates for all of the assignments along with all of the weekly tasks and the relevant due dates. So if it just gives you a map of everything you need to do in the course. For example, the lectures, has the readings, has the topics, and the weekly assignments and when they're due. So if you ever want to know when an assignment is due, consult the course map. So everything is here. And I'd advise you not to rely on the due dates in Brightspace. Some of the assignments have due dates, some of them may not have. So if you for a sort of definitive account of when the assignments are due and what assignments we're doing, check with the course map. Okay, so the assignments. And the assignments that we'll be doing are the quizzes, the text hypothesis markup assignments, the VoiceThread assignments. Those are the weekly assignments, and then the essays and the final exam. And like I said, the assignments must be completed according to the weekly schedule. You'll find the dates in the course map. The markup and the VoiceThread are the class discussion parts of the class. So it's like, if we were doing this in a classroom, we'd all have to be present together. And the difference here is we don't have to be sort of present at the same time, but we have to be contributing within the same time frame for it to count as class discussion. So that's why they have to be done on schedule. So make sure you're aware of the dates, and if you're ever confused, take a look at the course map. Okay, so the reason about the weekly assignments having to be completed on time goes back to this this mandate from the US Department of Education that talks about regular and substantive interaction. So according to the US Department of Education, an asynchronous course must allow for regular and substantive interaction between the instructor and the student, and between the students themselves. So weekly participation in the assignments is how we satisfy that requirement. And that's why weekly participation, ongoing weekly participation, is necessary to pass the class. So without weekly interaction with other students and the teacher, it's not possible to satisfy the regular and substantive interaction requirement, which means the course would not be a genuine asynchronous course, and it wouldn't qualify for federal aid and so on. So this requirement is important for, it's important to know if you take an asynchronous class that it has to have this component to it. All right, let me first talk about the quizzes. So the quizzes will consist of 10 questions, each 10 points, so 100 points in total. So 12 quizzes in total, 1,200 points at 15% of the grade. So the quizzes are usually multiple choice, true, false, possibly fill in the blank. Most of the time they're multiple choice. And they are based on the reading and also the video lecture each week. So obviously before you take the quizzes, work through the readings, work through the video lecture. And the quizzes are usually due at the end of the week, which is the end of Sunday. So I'd recommend doing the quizzes later in the week. Doesn't mean you have to do them on Sunday or the weekend, but later than you do the other assignments in the class. So the markup assignments, the hypothesis is the name of the company that produces this this tool for educational use. The markup assignments are where we mark up a text together. So there are 12 assignments in total, 10 points per assignment, 120 points at 15% of the grade. So to get the points on this assignment, what you have to do is to do 3 specific things. You have to post one substantial post. It's 100 words or more, so it's not like, it's not like essay length or anything like that. But you just have to say enough to sort of make your point. So one substantial post responding to a part of the text that you want to talk about, that you find interesting, curious, or confusing, or whatever. One question about the text, so ask a question about some part of what you're reading. And the third thing to do is to respond to a classmate's comment. So you'll see what other people are posting, and we're all posting together, and you'll be able to respond to a classmate on their post as well. So those are the 3 things you have to do to get the points in the assignment. And I would stress here, it's really about, it's an exploratory thing. We're not, we're not sort of trying to post, correct interpretations of the text. We're trying to look at specific parts of the text and trying to figure out what it means. Why does he use this word? Why does she talk about this theme here? Why is this example used? What does that contribute to the argument? So we're asking those kinds of questions, sort of interrogative attitude about the text and trying to learn more. So that's the way we want to approach the markup assignments in the class. Okay, so for the VoiceThread assignments, there will also be 12 assignments, 10 points each, so 120 points for 15% of the grade. So in the VoiceThread assignments, you have to do two things. There's one substantial voice response. So there you'll respond to the prompt in the video. As you'll see, the VoiceThread assignments, there's a video prompt that I provide talking about the theme and setting up a question for you to respond to. So the first thing you'll do is a voice response to that prompt. The second thing you'll do is a response to a classmate, and that can be text if you prefer, or you can do voice if that's easier, if you prefer that. So those two things. So as long as you do those two things, you'll get the points for the VoiceThread assignments. All right, so there are 4 essays that must be completed, and the essays are short 1 to 2 page essays. They're thesis papers where you're defending a position, and the essays will be submitted on Brightspace. So the first one is due at the end of week 3, so be prepared, that's going to come up quite quickly. So I'll try and sort of set that up as best as possible, and sort of give you a heads up that it's on the way. But that's going to be on the first module of the course. Essay 2 will be due at the end of week 5. Essay 3 on civil disobedience is due at the end of week 9. And then Essay 4 on Stoicism will be due at the end of week 11. So I'm hoping you'll get into the idea through this exercise of writing a thesis paper and getting a good sense of what that looks like and how it should be organized, and sort of how to construct a thesis paper. So we're going to work on that in the course, and so these are the sort of this is the way we'll do essays, and we'll do, like I said, 4 of them in the course. Okay, the final exam, like I said, will be a 2-hour timed exam taken at the end of the semester, and it's not a memory or knowledge test. It'll just give you a chance to show what you've learned by offering an open-ended prompt, and like I said, it will be more of a kind of reflective exercise. The final review sheet and the final review video will be provided prior to finals week. So I'll have office hours this semester on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And Tuesday and Thursday I'll be on campus. That's on Chambers Street in Manhattan. And I'll be there on Tuesday and later on Thursday afternoon. And on Wednesday I'll have office hours on Zoom from 4 to 5, which might be a better option, I know, for a lot of you who are taking an asynchronous class. If you ever need anything, you can reach out by my email, rfoster@bmcc.cuny.edu. My phone number is 212-776-6989. So feel free to reach out if you want to chat about the course, if you need anything, if you're confused about anything. I'm always here to help. And finally, good luck in the course. I hope you find it rewarding, and I hope you're inspired by some of the material. And if ever you need anything, like I said, reach out by email or office hours, and we can chat. So good luck, and I wish you a productive and positive semester.